4.3 billion people live across this vast continent called Asia, and we are telling their stories. On this edition, On Their Own, caught in a life of poverty and loneliness, many of Kyrgyzstan's elderly turn to charity for help. And working beyond retirement, Singapore's labor force is taking in more and more senior citizens. I'm Miro Lu, and this is Assignment Asia. Welcome to the program. The global population is aging. The UN projects that in 2050, more than 2 out of every 10 people in the world will be at least 60 years of age. But what happens to those in their so-called twilight years? In the Central Asian country of Kyrgyzstan, the picture is far from rosy. Many old people there live alone, left by their families seeking opportunities elsewhere. And government is unable to give them adequate support. But as Mihal Badovit reports, a group funded by international donors has stepped in to provide care and support for Kyrgyzstan's elderly.
Я вообще сейчас чувствую себя очень одинокой. Были у меня здесь друзья, знакомые, были. Кто умер, кто уехал. Я ни к кому не хожу. Ко мне тоже вот один раз. Вот отстоял сосед, он иногда заходит. Я и общаюсь только с ним, с одним. Я живу как в пустыне. Очень плохо так жить. Уехали. Кто? Мои ученики, не мои, но ученики, которых я учил, все уехали. Здесь, если кто и встречается, одиноко, кто-то где-то, я даже их и не узнаю. Но они напоминают, я их немножко признаю. Все уже, памяти уже нету.
Alone in her house, Maria Soltseva often longs for the good old days. She was a math teacher until she retired 3 decades ago. Today, at 90 years old and without family to take care of her, she's on her own. Maria receives $47 as monthly pension from the government. Every bit of aid she receives, she spends only on necessities, and new clothes are not among them.
Сколько получаешь, столько тратишь. Можно пенсию тратить и не хватит. Цены каждый месяц. Каждый год все растут и растут. На продукты трачу. 2 платья. Вот халат есть и ходи в ним до смерти.
Maria's family members have all migrated to Russia. Facing a lack of economic opportunities at home, many of Kyrgyzstan's young people are moving abroad. Many of them leave their elderly family members behind, mainly because they don't have enough means to take them along. Other elderly people simply do not have children or grandchildren and have to live on their own. With no family to take care of them and a government that's lacking in resources to come to their aid, Kyrgyzstan's elderly population is increasingly becoming desperate. Located in a remote area of southern Kyrgyzstan, Sulukta is known by some locals as the Lost City. Living here is a challenge. It's become expensive since the Soviet Union collapsed and industrial production ended. There are very few jobs available for locals, and the situation is even more challenging for the elderly, who make up about 1/4 of the population.
Да, особенностью является у нас географические условия, например, в нашем регионе это, во-первых, расположено выше, намного выше над уровнем моря. Это, естественно, оказывает свое влияние на здоровье. Ну, мне кажется, все-таки из-за финансовых ресурсов, из-за ограниченных финансовых ресурсов, вот поэтому, наверное, не может реализоваться.
With a struggling economy, Kyrgyzstan is unable to adequately support its elderly people, placing much of the burden on private groups like babushka adoption.
Это, во-первых, социальные факторы. Может предусмотреть несколько социальных факторов. Один из них может посмотреть поток миграции. Все молодые члены семьи уехали в заработок вдали от своего региона. Я думаю, это тоже в какой-то мере касательно этого. И кроме того, у них может быть еще есть социальные услуги, но не в полной мере. Не хватает социальные работники в сферах обслуживания, социального обслуживания.
Babushka Adoption, an independent non-profit, aims to improve the living condition of Kyrgyzstan's elderly. The name comes from a local word for grandparents. Established in 1999, they get their fund donors from different parts of the world, mostly from Western Europe. The organization gives the elderly monthly financial aid, as well as social and moral support through workers who visit them in their homes. To qualify for support, one must be over 65 years old, receiving less than $47 in pension, and have no family to seek help from.
Как я вам уже сказал, у нас в Батканском филиале 400 подопечных, из них половина части не имеет своего детей. Они абсолютно не имеют детей, и они все принимают меня как своего сына, как своего детей. И у меня тоже появился долг, что я должен, обязан им помочь, как их сыновья.
The government has welcomed the assistance of babushka adoption.
Биздин Сүлүктүү шаардык мэриясы тарабынан кайрымдуулук фонду болгон Бабушка Adoption фондуна 2008-жылы атайын офис бөлүнүп берилген. Ошол офисте биздин карыялар келип, ай сайын өздөрүнүн акча төлөмдөрүн алышат. Андан сырткары шаардык мэрия тарабынан Бабушка Adoption кайрымдуулук фондунун офисинде керектелүүчү электр энергиясы акысыз төлөмдөр жүргүзүлөт.
Living in a rural area like Slutka can be challenging for the elderly. But in the country's capital city, Bishkek, their situation is hardly any better. Many of the elderly here in the capital are completely alone and find it difficult to get around on their own. Social workers attending to them have become a vital part of their lives, not only for their assistance, but also for their company. As a result, many of the elderly have become very attached to their social workers. Valentina Shabalina is a babushka living in Bishkek. Because of her frail health, she's unable to leave her house and is completely dependent on her caregiver.
Пылесосить не могу, стирать не могу. Вот там я холодильник помыть не могу, окна помыть вот по дому. Так вот если для себя только кушать приготовить могу для себя сама, искупаться могу, помыться больше. Я вот, и все. И одеться. А вот все остальное люди, соседи.
Despite her condition, Valentina has not given up. She uses makeshift weights made of water bottles to exercise.
Постепенно, конечно, не сразу. Упражнения делать. Зарядка. То потихоньку. Рука у меня совсем не работала. Такая слабая была. Возьму какой-нибудь предмет, у меня все падает. Не держит совершенно. А сейчас это у меня такая вот гиря.
Мне кажется, очень большое значение для бабушек и для дедушек, для пожилых людей, потому что они сами не выходят из квартир, абсолютно не выходят, нуждаются в чужой помощи, потому что без чужой помощи им очень будет тяжело купить хлеба, купить молока, убраться, все, что нужное для них, необходимое в первую очередь. Это продукты питания, влажная уборка. Я думаю, они без этого никак не могут обойтись. Без нашей, без другой помощи, без социального работника. Они очень нуждаются.
At this community center, Babushka Adoption's elderly patients gather from time to time. Here, babushkas spend time and do things together, sharing meals, making handicrafts, singing and dancing.
Как я понимаю, это надежда пожилых людей, и это в будущем большая организация охватывает всех нуждающихся пожилых людей, поддержку нуждающихся пожилых людей во всем республике, по всей силе. Я думаю, такие нуждающиеся пожилые не только у нас в области, и во всех краях республики находятся. И я думаю, что в дальнейшем наш фонд охватывает все нуждающихся пожилых людей. и оказал им содействие.
It's a brief break from a life of loneliness in their twilight years, a moment for them to remember they are alive and not just surviving. For Assignment Asia, I'm Michal Bardavit in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan's economy has been slowing in recent years, increasing the strain on its government's pension system. And so babushka adoption has stepped up calls for more donors to help the elderly. Up next, find out why many Singaporeans are choosing to delay their retirement. From Kyrgyzstan, we head to Singapore, where the situation of the elderly is different. Instead of staying at home and being cared for, an increasing number of old people here are still employed, helping cushion the economic impact of the city-state's aging population. I spoke with a man in his late 60s about why he's postponing his retirement and asked experts how this trend is affecting Singapore's economy.
Good morning, I'm Ann Diesel. You need an engineer to go on board the vessel tomorrow? Okay. Which vessel is that? L208?
Meet Richard Lee, a 68-year-old senior sales manager. Richard has been working for half a century, 2 decades of which were spent in his current company, and he does not plan to retire anytime soon.
I really have to think what I'm going to do when I'm not working. And actually, I'm very fortunate that when I turned 62, the company offered me re-employment. And since then, every year they have continued to offer me employment until the current stage. And only recently, January this year, they told me that if I want to, I can work 3 days a week. So I thought, why not, you know? So at least this will more or less gear me to semi-retirement and eventually retirement. Then at least I could slowly find what are the things that I can do if I'm not working.
Richard has 2 children and 4 grandchildren. His family thinks he should retire.
Actually, they will more or less keep telling me, Daddy, you shouldn't work and spend more time with the grandchildren. You know, you have been working, you have worked more than 50 years. I think it's time for you to relax. And I always tell them that, you know, if you still can work, why not? I say, especially now, if I work 3 days a week, I can spend more time with my grandchildren and things like that. So actually, they always encourage me to retire.
Working through old age has become commonplace in Singapore. Almost 7 in 10 Singaporeans aged between 55 and 64 are employed, a rate that's among the highest of all nations in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
The trend in Singapore is just a glimpse of what's happening across much of the developed world. As families shrink and people live longer, increasing the strain on the government pension systems. South Korea, with its fastest aging population in the OECD nations, has told its employers to provide retirement plans after realizing its pension system could go broke by 2060. Germany and the UK plan to raise its retirement age from 65 to 67.
Singapore hasn't raised the official retirement age above 62, but has mandated companies to offer 3 more years of work to eligible employees when they reach that age. During Singapore's National Day rally in August 2015, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong announced that the re-employment age will be raised from 65 to 67 by 2017. Facing an aging society, Singapore planned to increase its population by opening its doors to more immigrant workers.
The new intake of new citizens.
But the proposal was met with backlash due to rising property prices and strains on public transport.
We have scarce resources in terms of housing, medical, transportation, and so forth. So if you keep on having this inflow of so-called low-cost foreign labor, it's not sustainable. So there has to be a shift towards actually looking at how we can actually leverage more on older workers.
The shift is happening. Growth in foreign employment has been slowing. From over 60,000 in 2011, it fell to a little more than 16,000 in 2014. In the meantime, the employment rate of older workers has increased by 9.1% in the past 5 years. To help businesses adjust, Singapore shoulders part of the cost of hiring elderly workers. Companies can also tap government funds to redesign jobs and human resource systems for them.
In 2015, if employers voluntarily re-employ their older workers from age 65 onwards, that is beyond age 65, the government will provide employers with a wage subsidy, which amounts to up to 11.5% of the monthly wages. So in fact, this will translate to nearly 1.5 months of wages for every eligible worker re-employed.
The government's efforts have paid off. The resident labor force participation rate of older workers aged between 65 and 69 more than doubled over the past decade. One reason the elderly stay in the workforce is the lack of financial security. According to a survey by Toronto-based Manulife Financial Corporation, only 1 in 5 Singaporean investors is confident their pension accounts will meet their retirement needs, and more than half believe their savings are not enough.
Your kids are doing well? You don't need to support them?
No, they are supposed to support me.
They support you? They don't need to support you. You also make them.
They are not supporting me at all now.
Right.
I think nowadays the younger children very lucky. During my time, as soon as I start work, I got to support my parents.
Right. Yeah. I mean that's the Asian
nowadays
mentality,
they don't need. I even have to support them.
Do you think that's one of the reasons that you don't want to burden them?
Yeah, I think that is part of the reason. I mean, knowing that now life is quite difficult, everything is so expensive. So we really don't, if we really don't need their money, so we just tell them no need. Leave it to your own family.
Not everyone is doing as well as Richard does. More often than not, older workers are in lower skilled jobs and earn less. According to a report by DBS Bank, majority of the elderly who were employed in 2013 made less than 1,500 Singapore dollars, or a little more than 1,000 US dollars a month. And nearly 2 in 3 of them worked as production and transport operators, cleaners and laborers. With rising life expectancy and low interest rates, many older workers have to work beyond retirement to support themselves. From time to time, Richard would think of what he can do when he eventually retires.
It's more relaxed.
But for now, leaving work is far from his mind.
You said if you can work, better work. What is the biggest pleasure or excitement that the work still gives you?
It's not so much of a pleasure. I've been working for the past more than 50 years. I've been working, and honestly, if you ask me to retire now, I really don't know how I can spend my time really. So, like I say, wait till the time comes.
When that time will come, Richard still doesn't know. He says he intends to continue working not only for as long as he can, but also for as long as he is needed.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, bye-bye.
As Singapore continues to encourage companies to hire elderly workers, the challenges to the labor force are mounting as well. In 2015, the number of laid-off employees increased by more than 2,000 from the year before, and the majority of those who lost their jobs were older workers. You can learn more about this and all the stories on today's program on our website, www.assignment-asia.com. That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Mira Lu. Thanks for watching, and join us again on Assignment Asia. Share your thoughts and contribute story ideas for future shows by contacting us on social media.
我说当初那会儿吧，我来北京之前吧，来的时候吧， 那3环以外全是一望无涯，什么都没有，就等于是平房多，没楼房。我叫张世林，来自四川广元。我们干这个工作吧，一般早晨5点半起床，洗脸、刷牙的，然后坐公交车到工地吧。7点半之前必须到工地，到工地再上来换衣服，换换衣服，检查绳子，这么就开始放绳。下本儿，一年就干200天吧，最多。你上200天，一天400块钱，就7、8万块钱。怕是不怕，肯定是怕嘛，但是怕也没办法了，逼迫之下嘛，想多挣钱啊。现在小工150、200块钱一天，你跟哪儿那个比不了。我一个人挣钱，家里4个人花，包括我还在这里租房子，就是钱不好挣嘛，就不想回家，有4年没回家了。现在这那么多年，20年吧，变化太大，北京这个基本上全部是高楼，3环、4环外全都基本高楼。干咱们这个吧，说年轻那会儿无所谓，胆大。你说他眼力越来越大吧，就感觉说。就有点胆小，我们干到即使干不动了就不干了。